Hey there, pirates! Welcome aboard the Anime No Mi channel. Very little is known about Dragon's childhood, apart from being the son of Monkey D. Garp and born in the Goa Kingdom 55 years before the current story. At some point, Dragon followed in his father's footsteps and joined the Navy, but left after some time due to his perceptions of justice not aligning with the organization's. However, he spent enough time there to learn some crucial military training procedures, and possibly acquired some hostilities within the Navy, such as with Akainu. In today's video, we're going to talk about the possible rivalry that Akainu and Dragon may have due to the interaction they could have had during the time when Dragon was a Marine, and how this enmity extended to Luffy. Before we dive into the video, don't forget to smash that like button, give us a thumbs up to unlock your Devil Fruit powers, and hit that subscribe button to awaken. Now, let's jump into the video. Guys, the revolutionary Monkey D. Dragon, an enigmatic figure in the world seas, had a notable past as a member of the Navy. Born in the prestigious Goa Kingdom, Dragon decided to follow in the footsteps of his illustrious father, Monkey D. Garp, by joining the military organization. However, his time in the Navy was marked by a deep divergence in terms of the institution's justice vision. Dragon, from an early age, demonstrated a unique perception of what was right and just, something that put him at odds with the Navy's strict policies. His ideals of freedom and equality began to clash with the often authoritarian practices of the organization. Despite absorbing valuable knowledge during his time in the Navy, Dragon eventually made the courageous decision to withdraw from the institution that, in a way, shaped his military training. Driven by his relentless pursuit of a fairer and more equitable world, Dragon left the Navy behind to forge his own path. Dragon's departure from the Navy didn't mark the end of his journey, but rather the beginning of a new and audacious venture. He dedicated himself to gathering individuals who shared his vision of a world where unjust power structures were dismantled. Thus, Dragon founded the Revolutionary Army, a group committed to challenging the order established by the world government. The events following Dragon's departure from the Navy became a crucial piece in the history of the seas, marking the rise of a movement destined to shake the foundations of the world government. The Revolutionary Army grew in influence and became a feared force by the world organization, advancing the ideals of freedom and justice that motivated Dragon's brave decision to distance himself from the Navy and create a new force to challenge the existing order. The rift between Monkey D. Dragon and the Navy not only defined the revolutionary's path, but may have also planted the seeds of an intense rivalry, especially with one of the prominent leaders of the Navy at the time, Sakazuki, also known as Akainu. Within the Navy, the fundamental differences between Dragon and Akainu were completely opposite. While Akainu embodied the absolute justice of the Navy, Dragon challenged norms, questioning the validity of a justice that often proved relentless and oppressive. This clear ideological difference could have fueled a rivalry that echoed in future events. During the war in Marineford, Akainu, upon discovering the affiliation of Monkey D. Luffy, Dragon's son, expressed hatred for the young pirate. This extreme reaction may have deeper roots than a simple ideological difference. It's possible that Akainu associated Luffy not only as an enemy due to bloodline heritage, but also as a symbol of the challenging and subversive ideas that Dragon represented. The possibility that Dragon and Akainu could have become rivals within the Navy highlights the complexity of relationships and power dynamics within this organization. Akainu may have interpreted Dragon's decision to leave the Navy as a personal affront to his sense of justice, fueling resentment that turned into a deep aversion to Dragon's descendants. The revelation of the familial relationship between Luffy and Dragon became a catalyst in the war in Marineford, intensifying the clashes and accentuating Akainu's motivations. The ideological conflict between Monkey D. Dragon and Akainu within the Navy wasn't just theoretical disagreements. It was a constant clash of ethics, morality, and strength. Akainu, unwaveringly committed to absolute justice, could have seen in Dragon a direct threat to that philosophy, challenging the rigid structures he believed were necessary to maintain order. Dragon, with his vision of a freer and fairer world, could constantly question Akainu's extreme and often ruthless methods. Meanwhile, Akainu defended his belief in the need for sacrifices and extreme measures to ensure the stability and security of the world. The clash between these two personalities was not confined to the realm of ideas. Dragon and Akainu, both exceptional in martial skills, never missed the opportunity to prove their superiority over each other on the battlefield. The clash between these two personalities was not confined to the realm of ideas. Dragon and Akainu, both exceptional in martial skills, never missed the opportunity to prove their superiority over each other on the battlefield. These physical clashes were not just an expression of brute force, but also a means to validate their convictions and show that their principles were more worthy and effective. The constant tension between Dragon and Akainu might not only reflect a personal conflict, but also a clash of philosophies that transcended individual differences. Each encounter between them was a test not only of physical strength, but also of moral resilience. Akainu sought to prove that absolute justice was unshakable and unquestionable, while Dragon sought to demonstrate that freedom and justice could coexist more harmoniously. This rivalry, rooted in fundamental differences, shaped the destinies of these two characters and influenced crucial events throughout history. The theory that the rivalry between Monkey D. Dragon and Akainu has deep roots gains even more credibility when considering the deep hatred Akainu demonstrated for Luffy during the Marineford War. This hatred was not merely a reflection of aversion to a rising pirate, but an intensified expression of his resentment towards Luffy's heritage as Dragon's son. The connection between Luffy and Dragon, which remained hidden for a long time, proved to be a crucial catalyst for Akainu's animosity. Akainu's unwavering desire to take Luffy's life was not only driven by the Straw Hat's position as a challenging pirate, but also by the profound implication of his lineage. Upon realizing that Luffy was the son of Monkey D. Dragon, a powerful former Marine who abandoned the Navy to lead a revolutionary group against the ideals of the Navy and the world government, Akainu saw it not only as a threat to the Navy and the world government, but also as a threat to his sense of justice. The fact that Dragon left the Navy to create a faction directly challenging the ideas Akainu fervently defended posed a direct challenge to his notion of absolute justice. Akainu's hatred for Luffy became an extension of his broader conflict with Dragon, encapsulating an ideological struggle that unfolded not only in words, but also in acts of great significance in the world of One Piece. The directly linked plot between Monkey D. Dragon, Akainu, and Luffy becomes even more intense when considering the complexity of the motivations behind Akainu's hatred. Dragon's rejection of the Navy's tenets, by choosing a path completely opposite to absolute justice, sowed the seeds for a conflict that would transcend the borders of the military institution. Akainu, as a fervent advocate of absolute justice, saw in Dragon not only a traitor to the Navy, but a fundamental challenger to the principles he dedicated his life to. The creation of the Revolutionary Army by Dragon, a force that directly opposed the Navy and the world government, represented heresy in the eyes of the Admiral. Dragon's rebellion, creating an organization to fight against injustices, embodied a resistance that Akainu could not ignore. When this relationship became even more intense, with the revelation that Luffy was Dragon's son, Akainu saw an opportunity to express his visceral hatred not only against a common enemy, but against everything that Dragon represented. The threat to the established order, the refusal to accept a justice he deemed unjust, and the formation of a group to challenge the system became elements that Akainu associated intensely with Luffy. The events in the Marineford War, where Akainu and Luffy confronted each other, became the materialization of this ideological conflict. Each exchange of blows was more than a physical battle. It was the tangible manifestation of a clash of values and beliefs that permeated the foundations of the world of One Piece. The theory that the rivalry between Dragon and Akainu is the root of Akainu's hatred for Luffy gains even more weight when considering not only their actions, but also the convictions that shape these characters. All of this demonstrates that Akainu still harbors a great hatred for Dragon's actions. For this reason, he constantly tries to find ways to affect Dragon, hindering the revolutionaries' missions or even attacking their relatives, all to prove that his justice will prevail over the leader of the revolutionaries. That's a wrap for today's content. We hope you enjoyed it and want to share your thoughts on the subject. Don't forget to share the video, give it a thumbs up, and catch you in the next video. Take care and stay awesome.